The Golden Teachings of the Buddha. A journey through suffering, opening the door to inner peace. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Dear listener, before we begin, I invite you, yes, you, to sit down. Gently close your eyes, and take a long, quiet breath. Allow that breath to travel through your body. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel your heart, even if it is tired, even if it is broken. Because right now, in this very moment, there is nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to become. Just listen, that is enough. And if these words begin to soften something within you, if the quiet space we are creating together touches a hidden place in your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, not for content, but for connection. This is not simply a video. It is a path, and every step taken in sincerity is a step toward light. A beginning in the dark. Some nights, the weight of sorrow feels unbearable. You lie awake, staring at the ceiling, while questions echo in the silence. Why did this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? Will it ever stop hurting? The Buddha never promised us a life without suffering. In fact, his very first noble truth is this: life contains suffering. Birth, aging, illness, death, separation from what we love, encountering what we fear, wanting but not receiving. These are the common threads of the human condition. But suffering is not the end of the story. It is the door, the power of acknowledgement. When pain arrives, we often resist, we distract ourselves, we numb, we bury it deep and pretend it isn't there. But what we resist persists. The Buddha teaches that only through acknowledgement can suffering begin to dissolve. There was once a young woman named Mai, whose father passed away suddenly. She held her grief tightly, not crying for months. She went to work, smiled politely, and avoided talking about it. But at night, her heart burned. One day, she visited a small temple. She sat on the wooden floor, incense smoke rising around her, and the monk leading the meditation simply said, "Allow whatever is present to be here." She wept for the first time in a year, not out of despair, but relief, because finally, she was seen, not by others, but by herself. Pain wants one thing: to be felt. And once it is welcomed, it can begin to move. The cycle of attachment. Suffering is often born not from the moment itself, but from the story we tell about it. We hold tightly to people, outcomes, identities, and in that grip, we suffer. Think of a clenched fist. It cannot receive, it cannot give, it can only hold. Now imagine your heart as that fist. What would it feel like to slowly, lovingly, open it? A man named Hoy once told me his greatest pain came not from losing his job, but from losing the image of who he thought he was. "I thought I was strong," he said, "capable, needed, and when it was all gone, I didn't know who I was anymore." But he sat with it. Day by day, he meditated, he let the grief shake him, and slowly, the image crumbled, revealing something deeper. Not a role, not a title, but a being, aware, breathing, alive. He said, "Losing what I was allowed me to find who I am." The stillness that heals. Healing does not come from rushing forward. It comes from standing still. There was a forest monk who spent decades in solitude. When asked what he learned, he smiled and said, that nothing needs to be added, only removed. In our modern world, we often think healing requires effort. But the Dharma reminds us, stillness is powerful. In stillness, the mud settles. In stillness, the truth becomes visible. When you are hurt, sit. When you are confused, breathe. When you feel lost, place your hand on your chest and say, "I am here." That is enough. You are not broken. You are unfolding. The gift of impermanence. Everything changes. The flower blooms, and the flower fades. The tide rises, and the tide falls. This truth can be frightening, or it can be liberating. If pain is impermanent, it means it too shall pass. A mother named Lean came to the temple holding her child's worn shoes. Her son had died young. She held onto the shoes for years, unable to let go. One day, a nun asked her, "Do you think your son would want you to suffer in his absence? Or live in a way that honors his memory?" That night, she placed the shoes on the altar. She cried until dawn, and in that surrender, she found peace, not from forgetting, but from remembering with love instead of pain. Nothing lasts, but everything can be meaningful. The path of compassion. When we suffer, we often turn inward, collapsing into ourselves. But the Buddha invites us to do the opposite, to open. When we remember that all beings suffer, our pain becomes a bridge, not a wall. Compassion grows, and in that compassion, healing deepens. There is a practice called Tonglen in Tibetan Buddhism. Breathe in the pain of others. Breathe out love. It may seem impossible, but it transforms the heart. Try it, just once. Breathe in the sorrow of someone you know. Breathe out a wish for their peace. Your suffering can become service. Your pain can become prayer. Part 7. Walking each step in mindfulness. The path out of suffering is not paved with grand gestures. It is paved with small, mindful steps. Wake with gratitude. Bow before meals. Smile when you see the sky. These are not superficial acts. They are sacred. Every breath can be a meditation. Every word a blessing. Every moment a seed. Do not wait to be ready. You are ready now. This is the path. Conclusion. Returning home to yourself. Dear listener, if you've made it this far, perhaps something inside you has softened. Perhaps something long buried has begun to breathe again. You are not alone. You never were. The Buddha's path is not just for monks in robes or sages in caves. It is for mothers nursing children, workers riding crowded buses, elders walking with canes. It is for you. It is for all. Suffering may visit us all, but we do not have to suffer alone. We do not have to suffer forever. Beneath the noise of the world, beneath the ache of your heart, there is stillness, there is space, there is you. You are enough. And if this journey has touched something true in you, I invite you, gently, sincerely, to subscribe. Let us walk together. Let us build a world of compassion, one breath at a time. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. The story of a faraway stranger. In a small village nestled near the Himalayas, I once met a woman named Tenzin Lhamo. She was neither a nun nor a scholar, and her English was minimal. But her presence, calm, grounded, radiating deep kindness, left a mark one can never forget. Tenzin had lived through war. Her father was taken during the political upheaval in her country, and she never saw him again. At age 20, she walked hundreds of kilometers across dangerous terrain to bring her mother and younger siblings to safety in Nepal. She lost friends, she lost her home, but she never lost her spirit. For decades, she worked as a caretaker in a monastery, preparing simple meals, sweeping floors, and serving tea to visiting monks. Her favorite place was the garden. I once asked her why she loved gardening so much. She smiled, gently brushing dirt from her fingers, and said, "The earth does not forget. When you care for it with love, it returns that love quietly." She told me that during her most painful nights, she would kneel by her small patch of roses and whisper, "I offer this pain to the earth. Please teach me how to hold it." Years passed, the garden flourished, and so did she. Her story is not dramatic in worldly terms. There were no speeches, no honors, no headlines, but in every act of quiet resilience, she embodied the path of the Buddha. She turned suffering into service. She turned pain into peace. The teachings she lived were simple, yet profound. If you have nothing, give your smile. If you have no voice, offer your silence in prayer. If you cannot stand, sit with someone who has fallen. And if you suffer, do not close your heart. Open it wider. These are not lessons found in books. These are truths carved into the heart by life itself. You are a part of this path. Perhaps you do not live in a mountain village. Perhaps your sorrow wears different clothes, divorce, anxiety, burnout, loneliness, but the path is the same. The teachings remain. You are not late. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be. Let this be your reminder. You do not walk alone. You do not suffer alone. And you do not heal alone. As you close this chapter, if anything in these stories has touched something soft and sacred within you, I invite you, gently, sincerely, to subscribe. Stay with us. Grow with us. Every listener is a light. Every heart is a temple. And as we walk this path together, one breath at a time, may we each become a lamp in the darkness for someone else. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.